Welcome to another episode of As Told by Millennials.
Y'all better come up here and get one of these. That's too damn bad! And it's really very simple. Y'all better come up here and get one of these. That's too damn bad!
Ooh, what up?
Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. How are y'all?
I'm good, and yourselves?
Still here. Look, still here. That's all I can say. But yeah, we doing good. What's up, Nez?
Look at Milton face.
Pull it together.
Hello.
Yeah, we're back for another episode.
Yes, we are back for another episode of this wonderful podcast, As Told by Millennials. Thank you guys for joining us. Be sure to subscribe and follow us across all social media platforms at As Told by Millennials. We would appreciate it, and here we are.
So, how's everybody's wellness for the week mentally? On a
I am
scale of one.
probably at a 2, 3.
Why? What the hell is going on? We need to call,
Jeez.
we need to call somebody.
Because I just don't, you know how you just have those moods where it is not like a depression or like I'm not sad or anything or whatever, but I don't want to do anything. Like, I don't want to do anything. I really want to kind of take a step back from all of the obligations and the responsibilities of it, of my life, and just not do anything, you know? Um,
Mm.
so that's just kind of where I am. It's not like I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Like I said, I don't feel down or anything. I just kind of need to I just want to take a step back for like a day or so.
So you requested like some me time.
hmm And I took some today, and I do feel a little bit better than I did. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. What's yours, David?
Uh, I don't know. What is our scale? 1 to 10?
Yeah.
hmm 10 being the best you've ever felt in your life, and 1 being we're gonna try again tomorrow.
I'm actually gonna give it like a 9.
That's
Um,
good.
I feel good. I feel good. Especially from the prior week where I was not necessarily in the best frame or scope of where I want to be or would like to be, and so this week is much better. Um, of course, we're walking into the holiday weekend, so I feel good. I feel good.
Denzel, what about you?
At the beginning of the week, I was probably like a negative 21.
Shit,
System overload. Child.
I'm finna call the cops.
I think like the beginning of the week, I think that was Monday. Man, I just, ooh, so much was going on with y'all though. I just had to literally like go take like 4 shots and just go lay in the bed and go to sleep. But towards the end of the week, I'm feeling okay. I would say I'm probably at a 6 or 7.
That's good.
Everything's okay. But like you said, today I took time out for myself. I just lay in the bed all day today, like all and yesterday, because I just wanted to just do nothing. So yeah, that's where I'm
I
at.
definitely understand that. I'm glad you're feeling better, and I will also say that taking shots when you're stressed is not a good coping strategy. But
Yeah,
you get by how you get by.
it made me go to sleep.
But yeah, I'm glad we are here to record this show. And again, I know I've said this before, but we kind of adapted this little rating scale from Don't Be Coy podcast. Shout out to them. We will always give credit where credit is due. We will always reciprocate the energy that we've received from people, and they have been very kind to us over there. with Uncle
Absolutely.
Lou and Brian, and we just want to send some of that love and that energy back to them. So check out DBK underscore podcast on Instagram and look for them on wherever you get your podcast. It's a really good uh, it's a really good program that they're running over there. I enjoy the perspectives that they offer. And you can catch us. I don't know if we mentioned this on the show, but you can catch us on the July episode of their Journal Club. You
Yeah.
can look for it on YouTube and on Apple Podcast for sure. I'm not sure where else it may be streamed, but I know for sure if you want to have the video aspect of it, you can look for it on YouTube, and you can get just the general podcast feel of it on Apple Podcasts. But yeah, I'm glad everybody's doing well or better, or just in my case, just doing. I'm glad that that we're here. So we can move into our happy hour segment of the show where we talk about what's going on in these streets. Now, I know we have already talked about some of the stuff that we're going to discuss, and I'm going to tell you now, I don't know shit about none of this shit. I don't even know these people. I don't know these people's names y'all are talking about. I don't know nothing that's going on with them. I don't know. So I'm just going to be here just nodding and you know, throwing in my occasional wow, that's crazy. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with these folks, but go ahead. Denzel.
All right, starting off, we're gonna talk about Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. They have two
Mm.
stars on there by the name of Spice and Erica Mena. Um, these two have been kind of bumping heads lately on the show, and it kind of came to the head on the last episode. Erica and Spice met up with, I think it was, what's the girl that used to hang around Tiny? They're so loud. Kai always said, "Oh, Shakana, yeah, that's who, Shakana." So they was at the table talking, and Erica and Spice was arguing, and Spice started off kind of spicy, and she told Erica that she didn't, her child didn't like her, or something like that. Erica has an older son that doesn't, I guess, want to have too much to do with her, or something like that. And Erica, that was a dig at Erica. Erica got mad and told Spice she should have died because Spice, I guess, had a life scare surgery or some type of like that.
Well, now
Whatever.
that is crazy. That is crazy to say to somebody now. That is a genuine, that's crazy. That's not me just filling in space. Like, that is crazy.
Told her she should have died, and then after that comment, they were still arguing. Erica said, "Come here, you monkey, you blue monkey," or something like to that effect, which was Spice is a woman of color, and she's on the darker side or whatnot, and so they took a lot of offense to that. So a
Is
lot of
Erica
people,
Mena a white woman?
Erica Mena, I think she's something of, I don't know if she's fully black or she's Latin or something like that, but
She's
she
a person
looks,
of color, though.
yeah, she looks Hispanic, yeah, but she's really
She's
light.
but she's a person of color, so yeah. So that's definitely got some aspects of colorism to it.
Yeah, so a lot of people were going back and forth about it, like saying Erica was wrong. Some people were saying like, well, Spice brought up her child, and some people were saying like, you can't offend someone and then and tell them how to react to it or whatever.
Hmm.
And so after that, Love and Hip Hop just came and said that Erica Mena has been fired for her comments or whatnot. So a lot of people are saying now, okay, Love and Hip Hop, you knew she said that before you aired it, so you made money off of her saying something hurtful to someone into a specific community or whatever, and now you want to fire her for it. So now Love and Hip Hop is under fire for that. What do you guys think?
That's crazy.
I don't. I personally don't really think anything. You guys know I don't really like the whole love and hip hop franchise thing. Um, I don't really care for it, but I did just search up Erica Mena, and she is Dominican and Puerto Rican. So
Hmm.
definitely a lot of nigga in there. She just so happens to be on the brighter side, but she's,
I can see both sides because I mean I feel like yeah, a lot of people know light skinned people have it, a lot easier than darker skinned people. So, and just to be arguing and to call out, there's so many things you could say during an argument than besides someone's skin tone or something like that, or calling them, like a ape or something that that was used as a racial slur or whatever. But at the same time, if you arguing with me and you say something, you hit one of my triggers, like parents, mother, brother or child, you can't. I'm going low too. I mean, I'm pretty sure we all have said some really fucked up things on the argument. That's the point of the argument, especially if the other person is getting at you. But I feel like Love and Hip Hop, they did make a bag off of her fucking up and then fired her. Like, because nobody really has been talking about the show until now.
I mean, well, I don't watch Love and Hip Hop, but I feel like Love and Hip Hop and whatever else, whatever other reality TV show, the Housewives franchise or whatever, I feel like all of them are just, they view the talent. I know they call them talent, but talent is also in Hollywood lingo. It's just another name for worker. You're just a worker. Like that's what they do. She goes out and she works and she makes a scene or whatever. We capitalize off of it and we move on to the next thing. I think that I agree with what you said about how they made money off her and they knew what was in that episode before it aired. But I
Hmm.
think that they probably thought that it would go over and it would just everybody would just be kind of caught up in the hype of it, and then when people actually started to hold their feet to the fire, they kind of hung Erica Mena out there to dry, or to take most of the heat, like, we're going to fire her, she was wrong, and we don't stand for this at VH1. But clearly you do stand for it, because you aired it,
Because
you
you
taped it,
recorded.
you aired it, you recorded it, and there was nothing, no sort of repercussions done to her as far as what you're telling me about this story when she said it, because she said it and she
Right.
said it on camera in front of production and everything. So if you all didn't stand for it, we would have never saw it, and it would have never aired. So clearly you do stand for it.
In the situation itself, I mean, the conversation within itself was scripted, so you can't go firing people for me throwing slugs when somebody throwing slugs at me. If you fire one at me, I'm gonna fire two back because I'm gonna make sure I get you. So I don't understand how, even though it's being sold as reality TV, and we talked about this earlier, it's being sold as reality TV, but it's definitely mostly scripted, and I don't think you should be firing people for the public's view when I'm not gonna say that it's not gonna come out well. But either way, I just feel like it was a bad idea to fire
Yeah, I feel like because other things like has happened, like even with the fight between Stevie J and Lil Scrappy, when Scrappy had confronted Jocelyn and Stevie J, they cut bits and scenes out of that fight, but you couldn't cut that out, that she said that or whatnot, and it would have made more sense if before it aired and while they were filming this season and she got fired going in before it aired, it would have made more sense. Like, okay, she said something, then they didn't appreciate it or agree with it, they fired her right there and there. You waited till y'all filmed it, it happened, y'all went and edited and did everything. Now the season almost over.
Yeah,
You
it's
got the
probably,
money
but
out.
it's probably been a year since it even actually happened.
Right. So
Because they
now,
don't care. They don't care that it actually hurt Spice or hurt a community of people. They don't care about that. They
Mhm.
production left it in intentionally because they knew it would get some sort of traction. It would get the numbers up, like you said. It would get some sort of traction. It would at least get views, if nothing else. It would get people talking about it. And when you're in like a salacious industry like that sort of reality TV, there is no such thing as bad publicity. All publicity is good publicity. The fact that people are talking about the show, whether they have something positive or negative to say about it, is what they want, and that's what they got from it. And but now, that it's becoming too negative, or there may be some sort of fallout behind it, or people may start boycotting or not watching the show or whatever. Now, for sure, they're just going to be like, oh, well, we don't stand for that. They're going to go back and cover their tracks. They're going to cover their own asses, which is where this whole, terminating Erica Mena probably came from. Because I'm pretty sure that's not the first incident, like, that has happened like that. And I'm pretty sure um, if they really cared about it, like I said, it would have never aired. But I feel like as society has become more um, cognizant and aware of these things that are going on, and we're speaking up, and um, especially as far as like entertainment and stuff like that, how I think people are really waking up and realizing that they have such an influence on these things. A lot of these companies don't want to be held to the full extent of that.
Well, also, 50 Cent threw a microphone and hit a DJ in the head, knocked her ass clean out. But what do y'all think of that?
Why was he
Why did,
throwing a microphone?
I was just gonna say, why did he even have a microphone? What was he doing?
Every time I see that story, I be thinking like, yeah, he hit her, but I never really cared to even figure out why. I
Is
know
50
some.
Cent still performing places?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I guess this. I forgot where the show was. Let me figure out where this show was at. 'Cause he
I didn't know 50
definitely.
Cent was still performing, but I am not gonna. If when 50 Cent first came out and that song "Many Men, Many Men, Many, 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 Many Men," they used to be my shit. Wish that for me, Lord, I don't cry no
Oh
more.
yeah, that's
Don't
when he
look
first
to the
came
sky
out.
no more. Have mercy on me, have mercy on my soul. So
Go
when my
ahead.
heart turn cold, have mercy on many
Okay,
men.
yeah.
His first couple of albums were definitely like record breaking for sure. He was that nigga back when he came out, and then when he uh founded or co-founded or whatever G Unit, they were a really good group. Mhm.
But that's like a lot of artists when they first come out. I guess most of their music be more authentic when they first come out. Then once you start getting the bag and the machine starting to take over, you could tell once you could tell it in the music it starts to change.
Yeah.
It starts to be more about the dollar or what it's racking up instead of just relating
So
to
I mean,
you.
what happened? What happened with him hitting the whoever with the microphone? Is he gonna be prosecuted or something? Did they press charges?
As of now, he hasn't. But she would be stupid not to. I don't
Mm.
care. And he was saying that it was a mistake or something like that. I'm like, Chad, how is that a mistake, baby? Your hand launched back and sent this piece of machinery down to this woman's head.
That's crazy.
But said he was upset that the microphone wasn't working and he threw it at her. But I mean,
Did y'all see? I mean, this can be kind of like the last thing that we hit because this is we're like 20 minutes in. Did y'all see that Kiki Palmer spent the day with her baby's father? Spent her birthday with her baby's father.
yeah, I see him trying to get back in her good graces because he homeless.
I don't know if he ever fell out of her good graces that way that we thought he did.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure she sat down and talked to him like, hey, this ain't gonna happen, but since you did this, I am gonna make this bag and be on this video with him. So I mean,
I I mean, I definitely don't think it's something that a real couple that loves each other and have a good working relationship. I don't think it's something they would break up over. I could see it being like a little tiff here and there, of course with it being public, but for all we know they reconciled overnight. Um
if he was smart, he would.
yeah, but I'm sure that now we have been beating up on him a little bit, but I'm sure that she didn't just get no average Joe off the street. I feel like he probably has something to bring to the table.
I was listening to her like discuss how they met, and she met him at an insecure party, and he's like the brother or of
True.
somebody on the show or the brother of somebody that produces the show. Like he's,
His brother,
something
the
like
one
that.
that Molly was fucking, the bright
Oh,
skinned one,
Dro.
Dro. Yeah.
Drew.
Hmm.
Okay. But yeah, I know he was, connected somewhere with that. But and he's also, supposed to be a writer. I'm not familiar with. Uh, I don't know of anything that he's written on, or I don't know that he wrote on them. I'm not gonna say I don't know of anything, but I don't. I just I'm not aware of being familiar with something that he has written on. So yeah, I
Well,
just
they do have a lot on the line. You have a. This is not just you and your girlfriend. You have a whole family. Like you got a child and all this stuff. So it would be smart for them to work it out and stop letting outside people come in and
I mean, when nobody actually went in, it was just him. You know,
yeah, him,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
just it was just him, and then we just kind of everybody just kind of started voicing their opinions about what was going to happen, what she should do, and all of that stuff. But none of that probably even happened. It's just we're on the outside looking in. We don't know what was going on in those people's house.
She did shade him in that Usher video though. She said, I am a mother after all."
I
Did y'all
mean,
see
was she
that video?
even? She. I mean, I feel like she is one. And I feel like it's so smart. I feel like she is one that really capitalizes on moments and stuff like that because she started making T-shirts, that said "I'm a mother," stuff like. So I feel like she's just one to capitalize off those moments, which I think is smart if you're going to be in the industry and kind of self-made in that way. So shout out to them, I guess. But anyway, that'll wrap up this week's happy hour. We're going to take a quick break and then we'll be back with the rest of the show.
So, welcome back. This is our portion of the show where we go into great detail about a specific subject. Um, and today we're going to talk about insecurities. I mean, this could be any kind of insecurities, like personal insecurities or whatever. And I believe Milton is going to usher us into that part.
Is he?
Okay.
But yes, like David said, we're going to be discussing the topic of insecurities, and um, I'm not really sure which way the conversation is going to go. I don't know how deep or personal we're going to get, but I would like to start just kind of broad in not necessarily discussing our specific insecurities, but just insecurities as a whole and how they kind of shape your decision making and even the origins. Like, where do you think some of your insecurities have come from? Like, do you think they were passed down to you? Do you think it was something that you developed over time after, maybe from people either picking on you or just, calling attention to something about yourself that you then kind of associated with some negative or unfavorable emotions? Um, and how do they uh, how have those insecurities affected your life and your decision making, and what do you do to sort of mask that insecurity, or are you able to mask it? Have you accepted it? And um, yeah, so we'll just start with, where do you think the bulk of your insecurities have come from? Do you think they were passed down to you, or do you think that you have acquired them as you've matriculated through life? Denzel.
Mm, I don't even. I don't want to say passed down, but I think mine's come. I think most of my insecurities come from not having a relationship with my biological father. After all these years, what I so I can. I think that triggered a lot of stuff in me, like just not feeling like I'm good enough for certain things and stuff like that. And when you feel like that, it can flow over into other areas of your life. So I think that's where mine stem from, because everything else, like I feel like I'm okay, but the things that I do have insecurity, it trickles back to that right there when I really think about it.
Okay, that's good that you've identified like the root of it. That's good. David, what about you?
Um, I think that the insecurities that I have can be attributed to a lot of different things. I think the biggest one I feel like is religion. Maybe I think that religion or unhealthy relationship with religion can cause certain insecurity.
Now, do you think that came from like your upbringing being so heavily based in a particular religion, or do you think that came from?
Um, I think it's more so, or it, uh, my personal relationship with, or my understanding of some of the things that were presented to me at a young age contributed to that.
Mm,
And I think that it took me getting older, unlearning, and having my own personal relationship with Christ and not so much the religion or you know, the man-made makeup of church. Um, it took me to get a little bit older to kind of figure some of those things out.
okay, I got you.
What about you, Milton?
I feel like some of my insecurities have come from life and just the trauma, and life just kind of beats up on you sometimes, and I feel like some of my insecurities have come from that. And I also feel that some of my insecurities were kind of passed down to me from my family, and so I think I've got like a nice little conglomerate of things going on. um how have your insecurities affected the way you move when it comes to, like Denzel, I'm going to take yours back to you not having a relationship with your father. So how has your insecurity, um, or that particular insecurity, affected the way you move around other relationships and navigate through other relationships? And for you, David, how has your insecurity about religion affected your decision making about, kind of being a part of, a church or another sort of religious organization, and kind of trying to find your home there? Um, whichever one of you want to go first.
So my insecurity, like I said, is with the relationship with my birth father. I feel like it has affected a lot of things in my life, like even within like relationships, like romantic relationships, and sometimes even friendships. Um, at first, I think I used to overcompensate, trying to make myself seem like I'm enough and more than enough and stuff to certain people, and it was not truly who I am or whatever. And I kind of linked that back to, me not questioning myself as a little child. Like, am I not good enough? Like, why doesn't he want to, know anything about me? Why doesn't, why don't he come around and try to figure out, what's going on, whatever? So I found myself being in situations where I was overextending myself to other people just to be seen as enough. And I had to learn, like, I'm already enough just, with me being me. And
Mhm.
overextending myself wore me out, put me in situations that, that were not healthy for me. And I had to cut it out. So with over time, I had to really like dissect why I was doing that, because like I identified I was doing, like, you're doing too much, for whatever the situation is, you're doing too much, like chill out or whatever. And if this person's not valuing you, whatever, you have to let them go or whatever. So, and that was another thing too. It made me latch on to people and not want to give up on them, even when I know that I would be better off without them. I don't think down the road me and him would ever like reconcile or try to fix or even just try to figure out what the hell happened. I don't wrote that off. So I just need now to like figure out how to move through life, knowing accepting the fact that it is what it is, and and removing that from my decision making.
I've had issues with my father as well, and but I never got to a point where I didn't feel like we could reconcile, or we could, not necessarily, maybe not reconcile this particular relationship as I see it, and in the way that I see that it should be. Maybe, our relationship is going to be a little bit unorthodox, but I just, I never felt like um, we weren't going to have a relationship. So I think that's a very difficult uh, conclusion to come to. Yeah, I do hope you find some peace with that. David, what about you?
I wanted to make a comment on um, that that aspect of what Denzel was saying too, and I think that um, everything that Milton said was really really good as well. And I think that, and this is something that Milton and I kind of talked about, years ago, and it's important, especially when it comes down to your parent, that whatever decision you make as far as rekindling a relationship or learning to build a new relationship, it's important to gain your own understanding and your own view of this person. Ask the questions that need to be asked for you, um, in order to start either repairing or creating a relationship with a person that that may be estranged or whatever. I think it's super important to um, be careful of what influences you may have as far as gaining your own understanding of what this relationship could look like or what this relationship could be. So I just wanted to comment on that. Um,
That's true.
mhm. And for myself, I want to be clear about what I said, because I was still kind of formulating what that meant to me. Um, and I don't, I'm not going back on it or anything like that. But
Oh,
I
that's
think
fine.
that,
We love
um,
clarity.
not going back on it or anything like that, but I think that, um, growing up, coming up in religion, you, especially being on the inside and being a preacher's kid, you get to hear and see so many different types of relationships that people have with God or with the church. And I think it's very similar to the whole father thing. And you you can grow up in an environment that is working, it's oiled well, and you still don't understand fully what it means to you personally. And I think that becoming an adult has taught me that you can have an unhealthy relationship with religion as it pertains to you when you grow up thinking that there is something wrong with you as a person. And then certain types of guilts are created. And I think that for me, in my youth, there was a time when guilt was a big part of who I was as a person. And I was not able to accept a lot of things about myself, um, sexuality being included. And I think that when it comes down to sexuality, it's really easy to condemn yourself when you allegedly serve a God who does not condemn you, right? And so I think that it's a personal journey that, for many people who do not subscribe to um, one form of sexuality, it's really easy to separate yourself from things that are not necessarily meant for you to be separated from. So that's kind of what I meant by religion being one of the things that has caused a insecurity or did cause a insecurity, and it took personal experience to kind of get over or past some of those things or come into the light of some of those things.
When I was young or whatever, I just knew that I had to have my own personal relationship with God,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
you know,
because it's like when if you know that God is there and you're hearing these people say, "Oh, well, if you're this, you're going to hell." And if you're not strong enough in your own brain, then it's easy to kind of go down a path that creates other things or a path that opens up doors that you don't necessarily want to be open. So yeah.
I got a different view on that once I started seeing people saying you can't do this, and they turn around and do that. So
Hmm. Yeah.
I said we were having the conversation when we went to we were at John the Barber. Shout out to John the Barber from season one finale. He's gonna be back pretty soon, I'm sure. Um,
Hmm.
for another pod. But we were over at John the Barber's house and we were talking about religion and everything. And I made a comment, and him and his other friend, they like just laughed. But I was so serious. And I said that if the people who are always preaching to me about heaven are going to be in heaven, I don't want to go. If
Yeah.
y'all are gonna be there, like y'all people that are always preaching about heaven, always condemning people to hell, being some of the biggest hypocrites and stuff that we know. If y'all are the ones that are gonna be in heaven, I don't want to go.
Hmm.
I'm not saying I want to
And a
go to
lot.
hell, but I don't want to be up there with y'all.
Yeah. And a lot of that is, like I said, created from unhealthy relationships with religion. We look at religion and then we think that the person is supposed to be perfect. Well, then that person who is not supposed to be perfect is preaching that you need to be perfect. And so it's weird to me because it's like you need to talk about the faults that you have, the faults that you have had, the things that you have overcome, so that regular people like us or myself can look at that and say, okay, I can still be used, or I can still be this and that, and I don't have to necessarily uh, go jump off a bridge because I did something wrong. You know what I'm saying? And I think
Mhm.
that we have created an era of people who are afraid of church. They're afraid of Christianity. They're afraid of God because of who people have painted God to be. Um, and the God that I know is full of grace and full of mercy. And he does not wish for us to live a life full of insecurities.
Yeah, but it really just breeds, people, church folk, as we call them here in the South.
Hmm.
Church folk just breed um, so much insecurity into people
Hmm.
by the rhetoric that they use and not creating a safe space for people to come and say, "Hey, I am doing this, and this. I
Hmm.
know that it is wrong, and I need some help or some deliverance or something like that." But oftentimes, they're met with such judgment and just like a disdain for what they're coming in and uh, the problems that they're presenting to the people that are supposed to help them. And a lot of people just feel insecure at that point about asking for help or even coming and not coming as this perfect being already. And church is not for perfect people. This
At
this
all.
just not that's just not what it's for. um but for me though, I know the insecurities that I have really shown up through my life, and they really have led to like a lot of procrastination in my life because in my family it was not good enough to succeed. You had to succeed in a particular way. You had to succeed and then go above and beyond succeeding. It wasn't good to just pass a test. Why did you get a B on this test? It's just chemistry. It's just organic chemistry. Like, why are you getting a B on this thing? Like, I remember when I was taking a genetics class, and my aunt, who taught at Jackson State in Alcorn, and she's PhD doctorate, and I told her I had gotten a B on my genetics test, and everybody else was getting like C's and D's, and I was excited about this B. And she was like, "Well, what could you have done to get an A? Like, why do you get an A? Like, what, you know?" So it was a lot of stuff like that in my family growing up, because there was just such a spirit of excellence in my family, and it wasn't always motivating and encouraging. Sometimes it was very discouraging and, um, I would say, somewhat demeaning of the accomplishments that I had made. Maybe a B was the best that I can do. I'm not saying that it is, because I probably could have studied a little bit more. I don't know. Shit, it was years ago. But you know, it was stuff like that. So hearing stuff like that growing up, and when you are developing goals for yourself, it's not always easy to share those goals, because you don't want them to be criticized and critiqued so harshly. And so sometimes that leads into you not even chasing that goal. Like, you set the goal, but then you put it off and you put it off and you put it off, because you don't want it to be rained on. Like, you want people to come in and encourage you and motivate you and push you toward those goals. So you become insecure about the things that you're passionate about, because um it's like a in my mind, it's like you present someone with this flower that you've planted, and is now, it's getting ready to bloom, and all of this stuff, and they just kind of look at it, and like it's nothing, like it's just a weed or something, but to you it's priceless. To you, it's one of the most important things that you've done with your life, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not always received that way. So I know I have a lot of insecurities about that, and for the most part, I've moved on, and kind of moved past that insecurity. I'm not like really insecure about it now. Now I'm more vocal about my dreams and the things that I want to do, and I have to realize that there are external things and factors that motivate you and encourage you, but the bulk of your motivation should come from yourself. It should be internal. You should be your biggest motivator. You should be your biggest cheerleader, because you can't always count on external factors to push you over the hill when you need it. You need to be able to count on yourself. And that is one of the biggest things that I've learned in dealing with insecurities. I think Denzel kind of alluded to it when he was talking about being enough, is turning into myself and realizing that I am, enough. Like me, just as I am, whether I'm, a straight A student or not, whether I'm a nurse or not, whether I'm a podcaster or not, just me being Milton is enough. And there's nothing to be insecure about that. I should be more secure, if anything, that I'm able to look at myself and be happy with myself. And that is where I have learned to be most secure, is that I am happy with myself as a person, you know, with the things that I've achieved, with the things um, that have caused me to stumble, and the mistakes that I've made, and the things that I've learned from those mistakes, and the new ideas that I've been able to implement into my life because of the mistakes I've made. It has
Mm-hmm.
made me more secure in who I am as a person. And the more secure I become in who I am as a person, the less insecure I am about things.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and it's extremely important to note that these insecurities do not necessarily represent who we are today, but they are a foundation. And I think that
Hmm.
you have to become aware of what your insecurities are and face them head on, um, to be the men that we are today and accomplish the things that we've accomplished, and maneuver throughout the stumbling blocks that have been placed in our way. Um, and I'm gonna just be real. I'm even though some of these things can seem really bad, I'm thankful for the things that have taught me to be who I am today.
Hmm.
Super thankful for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thankful that I was able to grow beyond it,
Mhm.
you
Absolutely.
know? And without some sort of opposition or, it's something like that, you don't really grow, you don't really change, you don't really become stronger. So I am thankful for it in that sense. Could my family have done better? Absolutely. But there's at this point in my life, there's no time going back and thinking about what they could have done, what they should have done, because it's not gonna change anything. You know,
Right.
I do call attention to it when it comes to my little cousins and stuff like that because, if there's an opportunity to improve, then I feel like we should definitely improve for the next generation. Maybe it didn't happen for me. Maybe what they gave me was an improvement on, what they felt
Who
when
they
they were
were.
growing up.
Right.
So, I mean,
Right.
you never know how that happens, but I feel like there is definitely room for improvement there, and I call attention to it. But I am glad uh, that I experienced what I experienced because I'm glad about it because I was able to grow around it and grow past it and become a better person for it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Do y'all have any like insecurities like in your like careers or anything like that?
No.
Like I have one. Like I have one of like public speaking, which I don't have an issue with. It's just like once I start speaking and I try to listen to myself and try to make sure I'm saying what I'm saying is right, I always mess up. So I be
Do you know
insecure
what you're
about
talking
that.
about when you're speaking?
Yeah.
Ain't nothing to be insecure about, baby. If
Hmm.
you get up to speak and you know what you're talking about, and not just your opinion on things or how it appeared to you, but factually that this is this and this is this, and I know exactly what I'm saying because I can either go out here and prove it to you, or it's been proven or scientifically proven, or I can show you. Like, I know what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
There's nothing to be
And
insecure about.
confidence is key.
Hmm.
You can be so confident in some bullshit that you're saying, and that if you're confident in whatever it is that you're saying, it will come off to people the same way. It will come off as confident, and they will eat it up and believe whatever it is you say, and you can be dead wrong. So I think that it's important to, number one, know or feel confident in what it is that you're doing or you're saying, and then it will also make public speaking a lot easier.
Hmm.
And being in the classroom, especially with highly intelligent students who are talented and gifted and things like that, it's really easy to say something that you're not confident in. The kids will pick up on it, and they're going to tell you, that wasn't right. And even if it was right, and they can sense that you weren't necessarily secure about it, it's gonna trick you up. So it's super important that whenever that you get up in front of people or whenever you're saying something, to be confident in it, and then if I'm wrong, I can say, "Oh, shit, I was wrong." Whatever, you know.
Yeah. I that was one of the things as I was going through nursing school. That was one of the things that I was probably um the most apprehensive about. I don't know if I would necessarily say insecure because I hadn't experienced it yet to be insecure about it, but that was definitely one of the things that I was most apprehensive about having to talk to. Because now, it's just normal conversation that I'm having now because I know what I'm talking about. But when I first got into nursing and started practicing, you have to have these conversations with these advanced medical practitioners, nurse practitioners, doctors, surgeons, and you have to be able to tell them and give them the information that they need in order to make the best decision for your patient and prescribe the
Hmm.
best, the best interventions for your patient. So you have to know what you're talking about. And that is where I found so much security
Hmm.
because I was able that was one of the big things. That was one of the biggest things that I was insecure about. I was insecure about my ability to understand on their level. I understood what
Hmm.
I needed to know for my job as a nurse, but I was a little insecure about whether or not I would be able to understand, the things that were happening with my patients on their level, using their jargon and their verbiage and everything like that. But I was,
Hmm.
and that's where my security came from, was the fact that I can take in anything. I can learn
Mm-hmm.
anything. I can understand anything just like they can understand anything. And I look back and I have a lot of conversations with myself. I'm just talking to myself, and it made me think about um, something that Maya Angelou said. And she said, I can do anything that is human.
Mm-hmm.
If a human being has done it, I can do it because I'm human. If they can understand these things and and use this language to express what's happening, I can understand the same things. And I can use
And
the
I,
same knowledge in words to understand and express what is happening because I am capable of these things. And so once I accepted that there was no way that they were going to be able to talk over my head. There was no way that they were going to be able to say anything that I wasn't going to be able to understand. That would I have to learn and educate myself? Yeah, sure. But yeah, I was going to be able to understand it. And now I feel just as secure talking to them as I do talking to y'all because I know what I'm talking about. I
yeah,
know exactly what it is what I'm talking. I know what it is to go in and say, "Hey, my patient is in fluid overload. I need this, this, and this, and I need it now." Like I
yeah,
feel confident in being able to go in and say that because I know what I'm talking about. What I have saw my patient present to me, I know what this is, and I know what they need. Like I know
yeah,
this, and and it's been proven that what I'm asking you for is going to work. So I'm secure in that. Like if I didn't know what was going on, I'd be like, "Hey, my patient breathing a little funny. Can we I don't know what you think we need to do." See, that's insecurity
that's insecurity. Yeah.
because
Hmm.
you're relying
And
on somebody else's thoughts then.
I like that you
Well,
brought up the Maya Angelou thing because a part of being aware of yourself is understanding that you have an insecurity about something,
Hmm.
and having mantras such as that. You can use those things to encourage your damn self. Um, when you feel an insecurity starting to bubble up within yourself, and sometimes you have to tell yourself, I am this person, I can do this thing. And when I first became a teacher, I struggled with being secure in if I could articulate the curriculum as I had received it to students in order for them to be able to take tests,
Hmm.
or for them to be able to use the information as I gave it to them to be successful. And it's definitely personal because I was definitely doing a good job and being the person that God has called me to be, and the person that I just am. And a lot of times you just have to be in a place to tell yourself, I am capable. I am the person that was hired to do this specific thing. I can do this specific thing, and I don't need to be the person or be the thing that's holding me back. So you have to encourage yourself.
Hmm.
yeah, I know, cause like growing up, well, in our school system when me and Milton went to school at, I mean, there was, we had like English and stuff like that, but I don't think they paid attention to like, enhancing public speaking to us as students or whatever. Well, at least in my classroom, but I,
It wasn't some public speaking was not something that was
Yeah, I was.
necessarily important to edu it wasn't necessarily taught back then like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's
It
what I
was
was
more
trying to
so taught in
remember.
college. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that we ever really just focused on public
Mm-mm.
speaking. Like you would get up and read what you wrote, but
yeah,
that's not really That's, I mean, it's speaking in public, but it's not the same as teaching somebody public speaking.
Because
You
after
know.
going through a public speaking class, you understand there are certain, mm, I guess you can say, hell, there's a curriculum for public speaking. There are things that are taught to you
Hmm.
that help encourage you to get up in front of a
If
group
you
of people and talk.
if you really want to get good at public speaking and um and you're looking for like somebody to either teach you or just encourage you and something like that, uh Toastmasters is great for that.
It's a great professional
Hmm.
organization
It's a great
that
professional
helps you.
organization to
Yeah.
be a part of, and they have
Hmm.
chapters pretty much everywhere. I'm pretty sure they got a chapter where y'all said. But look them up. Toastmasters is great, and they will teach you to come in and how to speak and how to formulate and articulate your thoughts, and it's great. Toastmasters is really really good.
Yeah, and even though you work in a uh, automotive setting, they actually may have a Toastmasters chapter with your company.
That's true too.
Yeah, they may actually have one. So it's something you can reach out to HR about and kind of inquire about those things. And I think we know a couple of people that work uh, for the corporate headquarters of where you work as well. So you can reach out to those people for those resources.
Hmm. Okay, okay.
I want to ask a question. What insecurities do you guys have as men?
Uh,
Um, I don't have any now. Not
Hmm.
around being a man,
Hmm.
mm-mm.
and that may just be what my definition of being a man is. But I don't have any now. I did have some when I grew up, or when I was growing up, because what I was being told a man was supposed to do, or what a man would do or wouldn't do, or would look like and wouldn't look like, and would enjoy and wouldn't enjoy, like all of those things.
Hmm.
Um, I there were often times that I didn't feel like I was, they were talking about me,
Hmm.
and so I was insecure about what what this was that I was walking in, because yeah, I've got the same parts, but
Hmm.
clearly, you know, you all are not considering what I bring as manly or as
Hmm.
something that will be identified as manhood. So
Right.
there were some insecurities um, about what it was to be a man, and I would kind of overextend myself, like Denzel was saying, in certain things. When certain people tried to come around, I would talk a little bit lower, and do stuff like that. And
Hmm.
um, but now I don't really have any insecurities about what being a man is, because being a man is not one specific thing. It's not a checklist. It's not a specific set of things. And I had to realize that those people that were saying to me, well, a man would do this and a man would do that, that's what y'all want y'all's man to do, or that's what
Hmm.
y'all's man is not doing, and that's what you would like for him to do. So don't pass that on to me. Don't put that on me, because that don't have nothing to do with me. That's something that you want, or that or need that you want, that is not being met. And so now you just saying that, well, a man would do this and a man would do that, and don't no man want to do. That's what you're dealing with, or that's what you want, or that's what you need, and you're not getting it. And so
Hmm.
you're just kind of passing it down and putting it
Yeah,
off on
I
somebody
agree with
else,
that.
and that doesn't have anything to do with me.
And I'm thankful that my father was never one of those kind of people that did, said stuff like that to me. Um, the only people that I experienced, well, they never said it to my face, but it was always people who were not necessarily in a place to be a figure of what a man should be. So that was never a struggle, even there, because I wouldn't throw a cat across the road for some of these people. But I think that
What kind of country shit is that?
I'm like, why the cat got to get thrown across the road?
Right, what did the cat do?
or or I wouldn't throw water on them if they was on fire. That's another good one.
Okay, I'm with you with
Uh,
that now.
but no, no. But what about? So for me, as a man, one of the insecurities that I have is hair loss. I'm gonna bring it on back home with that one. That hair
Okay,
loss, and I'm not bald or anything like that, but
you're not.
I'm definitely starting to see uh I'm starting to see some hair loss, and it does cause an insecurity. And I think for me, um, I was brought up being aware of image and how I presented myself, and so now that I'm getting a little bit older, I'm like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? And I'm not crying about it or nothing, but it's definitely something that is going to be an adjustment because I
What
know how I want to look.
specifically is the insecurity? Because
Um,
hair loss is what is causing the insecurity, but what does the insecurity really lead to? Is it about you not having hair, or is it about you getting older, or is it about the way that you look?
More so about the way that I look.
Okay.
hmm
Well, we can
and I
get you a
mean,
man unit.
I make it look good, and it's not even that bad. I just think that knowing it's there, it's like, damn, it's there. It's my hair falling out right here, and it's definitely a natural thing. Like I don't think there's anything I could necessarily do to fix it.
So
Um,
let me ask you this: why are you so? Have you always been so um, attached to your hair?
oh no, this is a new thing. I didn't even start noticing this hair loss until maybe like the past 2 years. And like I said, I know it's natural, but it's as because I'm actually getting older, it's something that kind of stood out to me, and I was like, well, damn,
Mhm.
this is happening.
Well, I'm
So
going through that as
if it's about okay, well, I'm gonna ask you too. If it's about well, what is? Let me ask you, what is yours stem back to? Is it the fact that you're not going to have hair, or is it the fact that you're getting older, or you're just worried about how you look?
It stems back to I'm just not ready for my hair to be long. But I'm actually even okay with being bald. I'm just not ready for it. Like,
So it's
give
a
me
aging thing.
it's an aging thing. Like, damn, give me 5 more years.
hell.
Denzel, what about you?
I mean, with me, okay, so I'm gonna answer the first question because I didn't answer the first question David asked about my insecurities about being a man. So
Mm.
for that,
Okay.
I don't have any insecurities about being a man because I have testicles, I have a penis, I have a butthole, and I have a beard just like every other man. So I'm good on it.
Not a butthole.
But
Well, just to play devil's advocate,
Oh, I
all
know where this is
men,
going.
all men now do not have testicles and a penis. So,
well,
And
I
some
was
men are insecure about their booty holes. But anyway, keep going.
oh well, but the term being a man, that's what it is. I mean, like you have testicles and stuff like that. You're a man, and I know there are other things going on as well as being identified as me. But with me, I don't have any insecurities about that. But my hair, like growing, like now, I'm learning that my hair is falling out a little bit or whatever. Cool. I don't have any issues with losing my hair, but I do have an issue with I have like sensitive skin. So a lot of times like my skin reacts differently. So my scalp and stuff it reacts differently. So I'm kind of insecure about like what if I have a bad skin day if once I shave my hair off and stuff like that and it doesn't, my skin my complexion normally changes on different areas of my, body. So I'm like, what if it doesn't look right? If I shave all my hair off and the top of my head is bright and my face is dark, so that's the only insecurity I have about that.
I mean, that honestly, the problems that you're having with your skin, I mean, it's a possibility that that could be your hair.
Hmm.
It could be. It's a
Yeah.
possibility that it could be the hair that's on your head and going to get it cut, and it could be that. Um, but yeah, I feel you.
It
So
was something I was about to say about that.
about hair. So what do you think? Are you so yours is appearance? You're worried about your appearance
Yeah.
when it comes to hair loss for you, Denzel.
Oh.
Uh, yeah, and kinda. Like I don't care. I think I look okay without my hair. It's just that I'm just scared about like how my skin is gonna react to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I never know, like, because growing in high school, my nose is always the area around my nose has always been lighter than the rest of my face or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
since I gotten grown, it's I kind of got it under control, but I'm still like I have every now and then I have like issues with the scalp on my head and stuff like that. So like right now I'm in the midst of it right now, trying to figure out like what did I change in my day to day basis to make it react like this. So I'm still in the process of trying to figure that out right now. But other than that, I think actually I done already looked at like apps and stuff that make me bald. I feel like I look okay bald, as long as
Not you using the AI to make yourself bald.
yeah, you got to see.
Um, I am not dealing with hair loss yet.
Well,
Um,
we know Goldilocks.
Now, you and your wig
um,
just calm down.
okay, and let me just just throw my hair around so y'all can see
Shoot.
and
Don't get it
know.
pulled out. Don't get it pulled.
Let me tell you something. You pull one of these locks out, you know I'm gonna be locked up. But
I was just gonna say we've been a group of gentlemen who have particularly always had great skin, and we've always gone to a great measure to take care of our skin.
yes, God.
Since I've known you, that's something that we kind of all bonded over. It's just kind of taking care of our skin. So, how do you feel? I don't know, like how do you, what projections do you have? And I know it's probably weird to kind of think about like as we age, what is that going to be like for us?
Like on how we
I
look.
Yeah, like how we look, not necessarily just skin, but like how we look as we get older.
I can say for me, I'm not having any issues with like my face and my skin or anything like that. My issue is now is I have this is the biggest I've ever been in my life.
Hmm.
I am like I think knocking at 200 pounds. This is
Yeah,
the biggest I have ever been in my life. And I was always one of the people that said, baby, if I get over 200 pounds, y'all gonna have to put me in a straitjacket because I'm gonna be losing my fucking mind.
yeah,
And um and it's really not that deep and it's not causing me that much strife, honestly. I do know for health reasons and some just for some aesthetic reasons, I would like to lose some weight. More so for my health because when you start to put on weight and stuff like that, you start to have health issues, joint
hmm,
issues, your blood pressure starts to go, stuff like that. And I don't want to have to deal with any of that. I'm 30, going on 34 years old, and I've never had any sort of issue with
hmm,
mobility or blood pressure or anything like that. And all of that stuff kind of runs in my family, and I want to avoid it um, as long as I can, especially if it's something that is within my control. So that aspect of it, I would like to lose some weight, and I'm going to lose some weight. But as far as just the way that I look, I've always been a fan of the way that I look. I've always liked
yeah,
the way that I looked. I've always liked my features. I've always liked my skin. I've always liked, you know, things about me. And I'm not saying that in a vain way, but I love me. I do. I
yeah,
really, really do love me. And so, um, I don't really have any insecurities about that. I know that um, weight and maintaining a healthy weight is something that I need to work on. And people make a couple of comments like, "Oh, you feeling out," or "Your face is so fat," stuff like that. Um,
yes,
I don't necessarily like those comments, but like
Me
if you were
either.
to see me, or especially like people in my hometown, who some people probably haven't seen me since I was in high school. And so if you were to look at a picture of me in high school and then look at me now, like you would say the same thing, like, damn, bitch, like, and I'm not fat, I'm not sloppy or anything like that, but I am much more filled out than I was in high school. Um, so I get it. I definitely get it. Um,
I
but
like
that's
that
about
that
it.
you mentioned weight management. That was one of the things that I kind of wrote out. And I'm not necessarily insecure about my weight. I still look and can look good and can bag whoever that I want.
Proven.
But proven. And I think that, just for personal reasons, I would like to get my weight a little bit more under control. Like you said, I'm not on any medications or anything like that. And although high blood pressure is a risk and it runs in my family, I do want to just kind of get some of those things under control and be better for myself. I want
Hmm.
clothes to look a little bit better on me. I want to wear um, more provocative clothing.
Not
Um,
Hmm.
provocative clothing. You want to be a little
yeah,
slut?
I think it's more so. I just
That's
want to be able to
fine. We don't slut
show a
shame
little
over
bit more
here.
skin, a little bit more skin personally. And I think that I'm still within age range to do so because I don't look 31, pushing 32. So I would like to just be able to get back to some of the ways that I carry myself or have carried myself before. Uh, and kind of experience that in the new mind frame that I am today. So I think it'll be an experience. It's definitely something that myself and I know Milton and I have talked about, and we're working on some, exercise plans and just kind of working it into our daily life to get back
Hmm.
to where we were. Because when we met each other, we were wearing size 28 in college, buying extra large in
In the
children's
kids
clothes.
section,
Yeah, yeah, we really were, and people be laughing at us, but it was for real. We was really them niggas doing it. So
I mean, I still am
still
that
am,
nigga.
still am, baby.
Man.
But like I said, it's the visual aspect of it. I just kind of want to experiment a little bit with what I can do these
Mhm.
days.
Yeah, not. I just want to get like I want to be. I do see myself being a fit old guy though. One of them old
Yeah,
guys walking around with a body.
with my gray salt and pepper beard.
Hmm.
I
Fuck with
don't. I
those.
hate. I just. I hate the fact that we are making ourselves so old, y'all. We're just in our early 30s.
Just in our, we got a whole lot.
We're
But when
just
we
in
were
our
growing up,
early
30 was
30s.
old.
30 was old. We felt
Now
like 30
50 is
was
not even
old.
old.
50 doesn't even look old because, I mean, people are living their lives and people
People
are
are living their
being a
lives.
lot more active and they're not slowing down and settling down because when we were growing up, it was nothing for your grandmother or whatever to be retired at 50.
Nothing.
And just, sitting at home watching her grandkids, in the soap operas and the
Rolling her
Price is Right,
hair up.
rolling her hair. Oh, the old people. Y'all check on y'all old people. They were real hurt when Bob Barker died. Check on your old people. Check on your grandmothers and stuff
Oh
like that.
yeah.
But
Mm, Lord.
people are living a lot more now. Like I know when we travel and to these different places and different cities, the majority of the people we see, unless we're just going to a place that is kind of designed for people our age, the majority of the people that you see traveling are older
Hmm.
people, 40s, 50s, 60s. These people are like traveling, enjoying their lives and making up for lost times, doing the things that they couldn't do when they were younger. So
Hmm.
I still feel young. Like in my body, I still feel young. I have the mind of 40 years. My mind is mature, but in my body, I still feel like I did in my 20s.
Hmm.
Like I don't feel
I
any
have
different.
I have a saying: the only old people I know are dead. So if you ain't dead, you ain't
Okay.
old.
I know
So,
that's right. I I'm thankful for those realizations just to kind of be aware of self and number one, encourage each other to just kind of keep pushing because we know people who are 30 years old who look 90, who we kind of grew up with. I was trying to be serious, I swear I was. But it really is some people out here that look 500 years old
maybe they
that
went to
we
school with my
graduated
oldest
with.
brother.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think that you know people can sometimes allow life and its stressors as well as drugs and alcohol to really make them look like a sack of raisins, and I hate that for
More of the latter.
them. Yeah.
I'm just I am so glad that, especially after having this conversation, I am so glad that you guys and we did not let the things that have formed insecurities in us um, stifle us and create us
Hmm.
and create the stagnation in us and just make us not really achieve the things that we wanted to, even when people don't understand and don't always offer the most encouraging and kind word when you share things and you share aspirations. I'm glad that we didn't let that keep us from achieving the things that we wanted to, and I'm glad that we didn't let it stop us from living our lives, because a
Yeah.
lot of people don't. A lot of people can't break away from it, and and they end up 30, 40, 50 years old, and they realize that they haven't done anything that they wanted to do because they were too scared. But that's going to wrap up this in great detail section and this episode of As Told by Millennials. It was a really good episode, you guys.
Yeah.
Be
I didn't know
sure
where this
to.
was gonna go.
Yeah, I had no idea where this was going to go, but I'm glad on the direction that it went. Everyone that's listening, um, be sure to follow us on Instagram and all other social media outlets at As Told by Millennials, and be sure to subscribe to As Told by Millennials wherever you're listening to your podcast, and give us a 5-star review, leave a comment, leave a rating.
Come on.
We would appreciate that. We've seen some of the ratings that you guys have left, and it's so dope. It's so weird to me. It's still weird to me, but it's so dope, and we really really appreciate it. But yeah, this has been another episode of As Told by Millennials. Do
We
you
love
guys
you.
have
We love you. We
anything
love
anything else you want to add before we
you.
go?
I was just gonna say, email us. We need to know what you guys think. If you don't want to email us, you can write us a DM on Instagram. We want to hear from you guys. We want to know what you guys think, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Hit us up.
Yes, and I'll just say that it is okay to get out of your own head and to not just dwell
Yes.
up there amongst those thoughts and those insecurities, and and don't let the thought of what other people are thinking about you keep you from chasing things, because nobody's people are not thinking about you that much, which is comforting. I'm not saying it like it's a bad thing, but nobody is thinking about you as much as you're thinking about yourself.
Hmm.
So yeah, like, don't put yourself in these situations, and don't put yourself on people's mind more than you already are. But yeah, we will catch you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.
Over and out.
Y'all better come up here and get one of these. That's too damn bad. And it's really very simple.